Alright guys, so before we get to the video, I'm going to talk to you about Futtrading.co.uk. All of you guys will know about this by now. It is the trading site launched by myself and Dan, aka V273, over on Twitch, where we make you guys millions of coins a month. We know FIFA 21 is maybe a month away, but we've opened up the tier 2, which is the higher tier, for pre-orders now. The reason we've done that is because we are limiting the number of tier 2s this year to ensure that our tier 2 subscribers are getting the most out of what they are paying for. As an example, it's £15 for 1 month, £40 for 3 months, which saves you a fiver, £75 for 6 months, which saves you 15 quid, and for the whole of FIFA 21, it is £130. It works out about £11 a month, the same price as the tier 1. This includes buying and selling prices for every single special card on this game. Early game, it'll also include all the gold cards that will help you to make coins. Basically buying them with sort of chem styles on them, so shadows, hunters, all that good stuff. It will also include silver prices, icon prices, and the most important feature, which is live filters. These are the best filters on the game at any moment, and they are updated daily. Every single item on that website is updated daily to make sure you guys can trade at any time you wish. So make sure you hit up Futtrading.co.uk, get your pre-orders in, and start making millions of coins right at the start of FIFA 21. But for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what is up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. As always, if you're new around here, please do consider subscribing down below, clicking the like button, commenting on the video. It massively helps with all the YouTube algorithm stuff. And if you haven't subscribed before, make sure you subscribe for daily trading videos to help you guys make as many coins as possible across FIFA 21 to build the best teams you possibly can without spending FIFA points. Make sure you check out Futtrading.co.uk for all your trading needs. Really good site. Loads of you subscribed to it last year, and we've got a massive Discord, so make sure you join the Discord. And yeah, get involved. We'll help as much as we can this year. But this video is basically how to make the most of the first few days, week, 2 weeks of FIFA 21 and how to make the most coins possible. I've seen a lot of videos, a lot of tips and tricks. I don't think any of them really cover stuff in terms of chronological order. And a lot of them are sort of, they came out a week or 2 weeks ago before we actually knew what was going on with the game. So it's worth me going over a few things. So let's get into this video and start making some coins. Alright guys, first thing to talk about is how best to spend your time early doors before the full game release. So we get the web app coming out. I believe the web app is out tomorrow on Wednesday. And then we get early access, which apparently has been mooted for Thursday, the 10 hours that is. So if you don't know about that, if you get EA early access, you get basically 10 hours to play the game before it comes out. It's like a trial, I guess is what you would call it. First thing to note about that, if you get EA access, I believe it's $3.99. You can cancel it as soon as the 10 hours are done. But you get 10% off of FIFA 21 with that EA early access. If you then buy the game through FIFA 20, apparently you get extra 10% off as well. So I think I did this last year. It ends up being basically 2 lots of 10% off, 20% off. So you can save yourself some decent money. So if you're thinking about getting the Champions Edition, but it's too expensive, so you're going to go for the normal edition, you may be able to get the Champions Edition to get the game 3 days early for a lot cheaper than you thought. So make sure you check that out. But the most important thing to note about early doors is you get the web access, you get the 10 hours. Do not use the 10 hours access on that game to do much trading, if any at all. Those 10 hours should be spent on playing the actual gameplay itself, the games and matches. And I'll explain that in a minute. Use the web app for all your trading. Now, there's a few things to this. A lot of people don't know about the web app and a lot of people don't use the web app. So it's less competitive in any event. But the reason why I like the web app early on is because it's there 24/7. So you can literally be making coins at any point. You're not tied down by the 10 hours. There are glitches that have been around for years now whereby you can get more time. I'm not going to talk about those in this video because I don't want EA getting angry with me. But just be mindful of that. Now, when we talk about using those 10 hours, it's vitally important you build coins in your club as you're trading and things like that. So the way that I do things early on is I will play squad battles, I will play rivals placement matches, I will do all that sort of stuff for numerous reasons. First is you usually get the coin boost at the beginning of the games, and that boosts your coins up, your coin total up, so you can start trading. That's the first thing. Second thing is you get rewards from squad battles, you get rewards from rivals, and for me, the most important thing to note about that is to take tradable awards at the beginning of the game. As the game progresses, I tend to take untradable, mainly because I'm a content creator and people want to see more packs, and I don't spend FIFA points, so that is what it is. But it is massively important that you get hold of tradable items early on to sell. You want to sell and make as many coins as possible, because early in the game, players are inflated. They're inflated AF. So that's vitally important. Another thing this year that I've heard about, I didn't play the beta myself because obviously, as you guys know, I've been unwell. But with playing Rivals and things like that, apparently you get 10,000 coins every time you get promoted as EA's way of encouraging people to basically go up the tiers, especially early on in the game. So I'm going to be entirely blunt with you here. Do not place too high. Do not try and win every single game. You play in Rivals, play slower. Now, I know it means your packs at the end of the week or whatever, when the rewards come out, are going to be worse. The but to that is, you're going to get 10,000 coins for every single promotion that you get. So if you start in Div 7, Div 8, each time you get promoted, 10,000 coins. If you grind that game out with a 10 hours early access and then with full release, remember, you get 3 days early access on the Champions and Ultimate if you are going to be buying it. You get 10,000 coins a promotion. That's not an insignificant amount of coins early doors. That's a lot of coins to be making very, very early on. Obviously, more coins on the game means players' prices tend to inflate, which can cause an issue, but that's what I would basically say to start thinking about early on. Web app is literally there for trading. We'll talk about specific web app trading in a second. And then the actual 10 hours is gameplay. Play as many games as you can. Get all those sort of bits and bobs done that you can possibly do in terms of squad battles, rivals. Get yourself set up in terms of a lot of coins and use those coins on the web app. We're going to talk about how to trade on the web app literally in 2 seconds time. I will be right back. All right, guys. So how do we trade on the web app? Now, I call it coin building. Dan, who I own the website with, calls it coin farming. And the most important and the best way to trade on the web app, in my opinion, is to go ahead and look for what we call group sniping. Basically, it's looking at more than one card. I've seen videos of people saying, look for meta cards and try and snipe them. Don't do that. The way you want to do it really is you want to come up with a filter that's going to have as many different cards in it as possible. So I will give you an example of this. If we go to the desktop, when it wants to show. There we go. The desktop. So this is FIFA 21 player database. What I would do if I were you is I go to leagues. I look at maybe top 5, for example. We go top 5, we go Premier League. And it brings up all the Premier League players. Eventually, everyone will be on here. At the moment, I think it's just the top 1,000 players. And then I look at nations or positions. For me, I prefer nations. For this type, for sort of league-specific bits of that, I prefer nations. But I'll explain the positions in a second. You can go to popular, and I would just look at the players I've got. So the one I was looking at a minute ago, to give you an example, with the Netherlands. Now, you're not really going to be sniping on these players because you've got Van Aanholt, Veltman, and Ake that maybe might be in your range, basically. But what you want to do is you want to get that filter up, and then you want to go, okay, cool. What's the cheapest card going for? What are these cards going for? And then set the filter up. So let's say, for example, it's not going to be this case, but Ake, Van Aanholt, and Veltman are coming in at 3,000 coins max between them all, right? You want to set up that filter, and you want to basically search on the web app, and then you want to basically decrease. So set it to 15 million on the max, whatever it is, max buy now, max price is what I use. Set it to 15 million, click that down, research and research and research. If Ake comes up at 2,000 coins, you buy him, you flip him on for 3,000 coins, and you're farming coins. You made 1,000 coins profit before tax. That's what you can do. If you want to do it positionally, the way you do that is I literally would select Bundesliga right backs, for example, or whatever league you want to go for. Find out what the minimum that they are selling for is. So if they're selling for 600, 800 coins, whatever, the minimum that in total they're all selling for, so you might have a really bad right back there. Then what you want to go and do is just set up a filter that basically might be 550 coins, and you want to buy everything that appears underneath the price that the minimum they're selling for is. So if the right backs are minimum 700 coins, set up the filter, search them, and every time something pops at 500, 600, 400 coins, buy it, flip it on. But make sure when you do that, you check the price of every card you buy, because you might be sitting there going for right backs, and you may find a right back for 500 coins. You go, right, they're all selling for 700 coins, I'll sell it for 700 coins. But actually that right back might be worth 1,500 coins because he might be a better right back, a more in-demand right back. And so make sure when you are doing this sort of, I guess, sniping and looking for it and coin farming, that is something that I'd be thinking very intently on. Okay, cool. What is this card actually worth? Other things to look out for on the web app that did me very well last year were consumables. Consumables, number one, go up in price once full game releases because everyone needs them. So think of your cam to CMs, cam to centre forwards, your shadows hunters, but also cosmetic items. It's something that not enough people look at early on, but kits and stadium items, especially this year, stadium items are going to be massive. They are vitally important to trade with, because United kits, for example, can get as high as 2, 3, 4k because there's loads of United fans that want to buy them for their teams and be wearing a United kit for the game. But what I found last year was a lot of these kits were sitting there for maybe a minute or two before anyone picked them up. And on some of them, I was making 1,000, 1,500 coins profit because no one sits there and thinks, right, let me look for kits. They're all thinking, right, let me look for players, let me do that. And so that's an easy way to build your coin total early on. Look at consumables, look at sort of coin farming. For me, it's the most effective way to build coins very quickly. Doesn't take much brain power, doesn't really take much of anything, if we're being entirely honest. But that's what I like. Look for quick flips, look for cards that are meta, look at graphs and Futbin and see if the trend for these cards is up or down and whatnot, or when during the day they might be cheaper. So for example, if you're looking at, let's go Wilfried Zaha as a random one, or Rashford. Like, they're not ones you're going to use, but use lower end cards. But for example, you see Rashford and you go, okay, cool, there's a spike here, a drop here, spike here, drop here. Next day you see a similar theme, you know you can buy into Rashford when he's at his cheapest during the day, and then sell him in later on when more people are on the game, perhaps more people buying the cards, less supply on the game. And you can sort of be picking up a decent amount of profit relatively quickly. And so that's something you can be looking at with the web app. Use your graphs on Futbin. They give you so much detail about how cards are performing and how many coins you can make. But in terms of web app trading, that's what I would be personally. That's what I think your time is best spent. I don't think it's the right idea to be sitting there going, right, let me invest heavily in these cards. I will talk about investments in a second. But yeah, let's get into I think it's point number 3 now, realistically. Let's get into that. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So, SBCs. Early on, massively important. You get these SBCs done. Now, don't overspend on them. Do not use Futbin solutions to do them. Come up with your own solutions. Take the time. You've got so long on that web app to do these SBCs before the full game comes out. Now, the advanced SBCs on this game tend to be relatively cheap. So, League of Nations Hybrid, 203k. Ignore that because it's not 203k. Hybrid Nations, 27k. And Hybrid Leagues, again, not 225k. They'll be a lot cheaper than that. But they are usually between 25 to 35k, maybe slightly more. But at the end of each of those SBCs, and during those SBCs, you get very good packs back. Very, very good packs back. And so for the cost of a mega pack being 7k, for example, you open it up, it's got lots of rare players in there, lots of non-rare players in there, and inherently those players are going to make you your money back. You will struggle to lose coins on the advanced SBCs. And so you want to get these done as early as possible, because some cards are very expensive at the beginning of the game, and if you pack them and sell them, you've got a very chunky coin total there to be able to sit on and then reinvest into other things. So a few people have said to me, should I wait till game release to sell my cards because they tend to spike more towards full game release when the demand is there? You can do that. You can do that. In the same way that I'm going to talk to you about sort of if you want to look at meta card investing because you haven't got as long to be on the game. But for me, I would get those cards sold. Anything that's got a good value, and even anything that doesn't have a good value, I would get those cards sold to enable you to then go out and coin farm or flip cards, and maybe at a higher budget if you get lucky and you pull someone. Realistically, you're probably going to hit something between all 3 of these. You're probably going to hit something. One of them doesn't require loyalty. I think one requires loyalty with 1 game and one requires loyalty with 2 games, I think. But if you hit, I don't know, like a Rashford card, I keep talking about Rashford. Rashford's probably going to be between 50 and 70,000 coins, maybe even a little bit more early on in the game. That's a huge amount of coins to then play about with afterwards. So if you're looking at coin farming, you've got a lot of coins, then you can just keep spamming onto the web app to buy as many players as possible and flip as possible. But you can maybe then start to look at higher end and start looking at grouping up, like the Netherlands filter, for example. Look at that and go, okay, cool, they're all going for about 10 to 15k. Start doing that and seeing if ones drop out a lot lower, picking up them and making more profit because you've got that extra money to play about with. Advanced SBCs are massively important. Also look towards the foundation SBCs, like everything that you can possibly do on the game at the beginning. So all the basic SBCs, everything like that. Number 1, it gives you packs back, which is massive. Number 2, it gives you some coins back sometimes. And number 3, it's going to open up the ability to you to do more in the game. You need to do them realistically anyway, but don't turn down free packs. Even if the rewards are untradeable, at the beginning of this game, you get given what they call loyalty packs. You can use those players in these advanced SBCs. You might be able to use some of those players in your team, so you ain't got to go out and buy anyone to start with. Anything you get like that it's important. It's great to have early on. Gives you players which you can use in SBCs and bring down their cost. Gives you players potentially that you can use, which is always good. And I guess it just gets you in the swing of the game and make sure that you're on point and again saving yourself coins and making coins as you go. Again, all these SBCs should be done on the web app initially. Do not do them on the game. Yes, I think I prefer doing them on the game. Everyone else, a lot of people I know seem to prefer the web app for SBCs. I prefer using the game by a mile. But do all these advanced SBCs without a doubt on the game. Objectives, try and get objectives in there. If you're playing the game, look to the objectives. Last year, I think we got massively good objectives. So it was like simplistic stuff like win games with X amount of leagues in the team and you get a really good pack. And sometimes you get just random objectives that give you packs back anyway. Do all that. Because again, even if those cards are untradeable, they can be used in SBCs. But sometimes you may get lucky. I remember last year I think I hit Kante week 2. So I had a Kante in my team for Weekend League because it was untradeable. And that's a really expensive meta card that, for me, did I really want to go out and buy Kante? No, but I had him untradeable, I used him. And so don't overlook these advanced SBCs. They are vitally important. In my opinion, the way that I would start my time off in the game was I'd probably go onto a web app and open up all my whatever packs I get, my loyalty packs and things like that. See where my coins are at, see what I'm going to do there, get on the game, play a few games in early access, build my coin total up with coin boost, start to coin farm, open up any packs that I get from objectives, so get those into my club, see if any of those players can be used in the advanced, open those up, build my coin total even more, use those coins to then reinvest into these SBCs, get these SBCs done first couple of days, get the players there, sell my players, hopefully sitting like last year on about 200,000 coins after day 1 or 2, maybe a batch, maybe day 3 actually. Be sitting on that and then keep reinvesting that, keep coin farming and doing what I've got to do to make coins from then onwards. And again, you guys know I'll be live streaming most days. I'll also be bringing out videos to tell you guys about some decent filters that I'm finding. But that's a massively important thing not to forget, advanced SBCs. Couple other things I want to talk about. Not my favourite way of making coins, I'm not going to lie, but if you haven't got much time and I want to sort of debunk a couple of myths, I'll be right back. Alright guys, so let's talk about out-of-pack investments. This was Team of the Week 1 from last year, and I saw a video where someone recommended investing in Team of the Week 1. And it didn't make any sense because Team of the Week 1 last year came out when the game released. So he was showing off, for example, I think it was Serge Aurier, and was like, oh, there's a massive spike here. No, it was Team of the Week 1 was pretty much as soon as the game came out. So I don't really like that sort of investment either way, but it's just, yeah, for me, it's not the one. However, if you are short of time and you play some games, you make some coins, you open up some packs, do quite well, I would advise if you haven't got time to invest in ones to watch cards. So the lower end of them, without a doubt, is where I'd be looking. But as an example, Joe Linton last year saw a decent little spike on Xbox. I always look at Xbox prices. PS was the same, just for reference, but I'm an Xbox player. You can pick him up for this is an average price, but I remember being able to pick him up for 700, 800 coins, maybe 900 coins. And he gets up to near, I think, 1,800 at some point, 1,700 coins. If you haven't got time to be on the game, but you want to be making coins, go and buy some of these cheaper one to watches. I wouldn't aim the higher ones. The lower end ones is what I would look for. It's a basic rule of FIFA that pretty much every card rises out of packs. It's just a thing that happens every year. I didn't like it so much this year because I just kept seeing on Twitter people saying out of pack investments. I know a lot of sites were using it, Patreons, Discords. We're talking about out-of-pack investments, and for me, it ends up getting over-invested, and then the market floods, and actually the players don't rise like you think they're going to. You still will make profit if you buy low enough. I'm not a massive fan of this year. I prefer to move with the game, see what the market's doing, and buy into cards as and when I want to do that. But it is an option for you if you are short on time and you want to just put your coins somewhere rather than them just sitting there. That is something that you can do. Again, look at graphs, check trends, see what happened last year, and go from there. But the other thing to talk about is meta card investments. So, Kyle Walker, last year, obviously incredibly meta card. When the game first came out, he steadily rose. So, first day, average price apparently 38k, take that with a pinch of salt. And then he went up and up and up and up and up and up and up over time. And then I think he hit a peak of about 70,000 coins, Kyle Walker. You can make quite a bit of coins by meta card investing. You can make quite a bit of coins with that. Again, it's for those of you that maybe got lucky in packs or maybe for the first day or two, coin farming like hell but lose time over the weekend. You could go buy one or two of these cards, maybe make 10, 15, 20k on them when full game releases and the demand is there. Again, I'd rather be on the game and on the web app specifically, coin farming and build my coins up that way. But it is a viable option. The but to that is, what I do prefer is looking at the cards that are going to be quite meta, but aren't going to be as expensive as a Kyle Walker. So this example here is Ricardo Pereira. So on initial game release, down at like 6, then climbs to 11, then keeps going up and up and up and up, and he's up at 20k eventually. Now, cards like this do really well because everyone's looking at Walker, thinking they're going to buy Walker for their teams, and then Walker spikes in price and they realise they didn't quite have as much money as they thought they did, so they look at the next one down or the next one down. It happens with random stuff like, so during Foot Birthday when we got that Alan St. Maximan card, his inform spiked in price because when you can't get his birthday card, you might use it and think that's a really good card in draft. Can't buy that, you go and buy the one down. It tends to happen like that way as well. So Pereira, for example, just kept rising before eventually slowly but surely coming down in price as time went on. Maybe look at relatively meta right backs, left backs, centre mids, and then look at the cards just below them, the ones that less people are going to be interested in initially, and then maybe buy into some of those. Look at graphs and see what they're doing on. I can't stress that enough. Look at Footbin and see what those cards are doing. If those cards are steadily rising, you see 1 day, 2 days they start rising, maybe think about buying in. It is a risk. There's no point lying to you. It is a risk. But maybe just think about that. Look at it and go, well, Pereira, for example, has jumped from 6k day one. Again, take that with a pinch of salt because it is day one. And he's got up to 11k. He's nearly doubled in price in the first few days. He keeps steadily rising. You might think, right, I'm going to buy into Pereira, for example. They are relatively safe investments to make. Again, do I think putting 10,000 coins into a card to make, 8,000, 10,000 coins in a week's time is the best way to put your money in there? No, not really, because that 10,000 coins could be continually reinvested in coin farming and things like that. So for me, it's not the best way of doing it. But again, if your time's short, and I'm going to be blunt, if you get bored, like I do this for a job, so I sit there and I will coin snap, I'll do it, I'll coin farm, I'll do it on live, on stream to show people. But it gets boring. So if I'm sitting on 300,000 coins or whatever it is, I might just go, do you know what, let me throw, 150k at Pereira's, leave him sat there. He does that. I keep reinvesting 150k into coin farming, keep doing that. I've got those investments sat to the side, making loads of coins. As I do that, keep coin farming, build that up. Game releases, everyone wants him. Sell my Pereiras, for example. We move on. All that gets sold, and I've got a very healthy coin total to start the game with. I wouldn't say don't do it. If it's something you want to do, go for it. Just be mindful of graphs. Look at what happened last year with certain cards and see what happens this year. You can usually get some form of correlation each year in terms of how you can buy into cards and how it went last year. But that really is how I would spend the first week, 10 days on this game before full release. Web app access, use that, trade, play gameplay, build your coins up. Use the web app to do a companion app to do advanced SBCs, basic SBCs, all that sort of stuff. Don't waste your time on the game doing that. You get 10 hours. They are precious 10 hours. Make sure you play squad battles, rivals, get those early tradable packs in to open them up, and then hopefully get packs something half decent, sell it on, make profit. They're just massively important. Rivals games, I wouldn't be aiming too high on them. I would, if there is a 10,000 coin bonus, I'd be looking to get as low down as possible and work my way up to get 10,000 coins every time I do it. Placement games, obviously, for rivals allows you to get into rivals, and then rivals you can grind towards the first weekend league. Coin farming on web app, I think, would be extremely effective to do that. Look for trends. Other thing to think about as well is if you look at the advanced SBCs and you see solutions on there, just go through the solutions, the top few solutions, and see, number one, if there's any recurring players, and just simplistically what players are in there. Because if, for example, you see, I don't know, we're going to throw someone out for randomly, Mario Hermoso, the centre-back from Atletico Madrid. You see him continually being put into these SBCs, you can buy into him if he's cheap enough. You can buy into him. Because the longer that he's in those solutions, the more he will go up in price, because people are lazy. They'll look at those solutions and go, right, I'm going to buy Mario Hermoso, and he goes from 3k to 7k. You can do that. Again, have some market knowledge and know when the right time to buy is, but just another point to do. Team of the Week investing, dead, don't do it. Ones to watch if you haven't got time, I don't hate it. Go ahead. And meta cards, if you haven't got time, I don't hate it. Go ahead. Build your coins up first, though, and if you're not going to be on the game for a few days, make sure you buy into something that's likely to rise, so you're making the most of it. Think of it like you're putting your money into a savings account. It builds interest, it makes money, you come to sell, you make decent coins. But that is going to be the end of the video. Hopefully it has helped you to learn. I will be live streaming a lot of this. I'll be bringing out videos on a lot of this. So make sure you head over to Twitch. That's where I live stream. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Check out futtrading.co.uk. But for now, lads, I'm out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.